Hey, everybody. You just tuned into What's Up with Giancarlo. Today, we've got topic one, lesson seven for you. Solve problems with rational numbers. I can solve problems with rational numbers. This goes to MA.7.NSO.2.1. Solve mathematical problems using multi-step order of operations with rational numbers, including grouping symbols, whole number, exponents, and absolute value. That is the standard for today's lesson. So let's move on. So example one, decide which operations to use to solve problems. Water drains steadily out of a lock to lower a boat from one level to another. What is the boat's change in position each minute? So the boat lowers 3 feet. And in that 3 feet that it's lowering, it takes 4.5 minutes to lower that boat, the 3 feet. So to find out the change each minute, we are going to have to divide the 3 feet by the 4.5 minutes. By doing that, you're just writing out the information that you have here. Okay? You know all your information and you should know what you're doing by now. So we move on. Use a bar diagram if you want. It splits it up. Okay. But like I said, we're dividing -3 because it's lowering, it's going down. So it's -3 by 4.5. Okay. So we can write that out. We get, let's give us some more room, some more space. We've got -3 divided by 4.5. Okay, so this would also equal -3 divided by 4.5. So what we've learned in the book is that before we can do anything, we have to change these to improper fractions. So what would -3 be as an improper fraction? It would be -3/1, okay? Divided by, how do we change this mixed number to an improper fraction? Well, the first thing we would do is multiply the denominator by the whole number. So multiply them, and then we would add what we get to the numerator, okay? So multiply these two, and then add it to the top. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and that goes over 2, okay? So we should all know how to divide fractions by now. The three magic words that we use to divide fractions are keep, change, and flip. No, that's not KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. It is KCF. So, me personally, I like to write it under all the things that I'm doing. So, I'm going to keep this -3/1. I'm going to change this division to multiplication. And then I'm going to flip this fraction and make it 2/9. All right. So, I can simplify this right now instead of multiplying and then simplifying in the end. So we can cross simplify across from each other. So 1 and 2 do not cross simplify, but I can cross simplify with 3 and 9. So the GCF, greatest common factor, between 3 and 9 is 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So the way I do this, I multiply regularly now. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. Different signs equals negative answer. Okay? My final answer is -2/3. So the boat lowers 2/3 of a, I believe, foot. Yes, 2/3 of a foot every minute. Okay? Lowers 2/3 of a foot every minute. Ooh, 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 ooh. Every minute. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay? So let's move on. We'll get back to the try it later. Example 2. Use properties of operations with rational numbers. Kevin played a trivia game. Each correct answer is worth 2 1/4 points, and each incorrect answer is worth negative 1/2 point. What was Kevin's score? So you look at this, you look at his cell phone, it looks to be a very old one. Pretty new book. It's crazy that they can't get a newer looking cell phone, but whatever. We'll let that slide. So he got 15 correct and 15 incorrect. That is going to work into our expression. So you see the expression is right here. It's the same expression, even though you can do it different ways. Okay? So here I have the expressions set up. Okay? The first way we do the expression, we can just do it as it's shown. So I can do 15 times 2 1/4 plus 15 times negative 1/2. So can you use a calculator? Yeah, sure. But am I going to? No, I'm going to work it out. Okay? I am going to work it out so everybody can see it. So to multiply these two, I have to make improper fractions. So here we go, 15 over 1. And since there's no sign in between them, that means multiplication. When they're connected like that, that is multiplication, okay? You don't need a sign for multiplication. You can just attach them using parentheses and whatnot. So, like we said before, multiply the denominator and the whole number, then add it to the numerator. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9 over 4. Plus 15 over 1 times negative 1/2. Okay? So I cannot, they're already multiplying, so we do not need KCF. That is only when we are dividing. Keep, change, flip is only when we are dividing. This is multiplication, okay? So let's get into it. 15 times 9, 9 times 5 is 45. So I put my 5 here, carry the 4. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 4 would be 13. Okay? Or 15 times 10 is 150, minus 15 is 135. Whichever way you choose to do it, you guys will probably just use a calculator. And then 1 times 4 is 4. Plus 15 times 1 is 15. 1 times 2 is 2. And remember, different signs equals negative answer. So we can add a positive and a negative, but really, when we are adding with different signs, we are just subtracting. Okay? Can I add these together or subtract them? No, I cannot subtract them because they do not have a common denominator. I need a common denominator. So I need to multiply this by 2 to get to a common denominator. Actually, I don't like the way I stated that. So I am going to multiply the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. This way you can know that I need a common denominator. That's why I did that. 135 over 4 minus 15 times 2 is 30. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay? 135 minus 30 is 105 over 4 because the denominator stays the same. And when we turn this to a mixed number, 4 goes into 100 25 times, and then 4 goes into 5 one time, so it's 26 with that 1 left over. So 1 over 4. That is his score, Kevin's score. That is Kevin's score. So that is one way of doing it, okay? Another way of doing it is by de-distributing. So we're going back a step. We'll say that this 15 was distributed to both of these numbers, okay? But if we just take it back out here, we put 15 on the outside of the parentheses, and then we do 2 1/4 minus 1/2. Can we do this right now? No, we cannot. We cannot subtract this, okay? So let's turn them to improper fractions. So I get 15. Well, let's turn this to an improper fraction. I get 2 1/4, like we said over here, was 9/4 minus 1/2. Oh, shucks, we still can't do it. Why? Because we do not have a common denominator. So we must get a common denominator. So we have to change this to, you guessed it, 2/4. Okay? Because 4 is the least common denominator. Okay? So now we can work this out. 9 minus 2 is 7. So we get 7/4. Okay? Now we can just multiply them. 15/1 times 7/4. We cannot cross simplify anything, but we know this is going to be our answer, and we already did this. So we can find out that 15 times 7 is 105. 1 times 4 is 4. And like we said before, 26 1/4. Two different ways of doing this brings us to the exact same answer, okay? Whichever way you're doing it, as long as you're doing it correctly, you will still get the right answer, all right? Bada bing, bada booyah. Okay, let's go. Get to that after. Example 3, solve multi-step problems with rational numbers. Evaluate the expression 8 times, parentheses, absolute value, that's what those bars are, the absolute value, negative 5.5, and absolute value, minus 16.8, end parentheses, divided by 2.5 plus negative 5 to the second power. Okay? So this is PEMDAS. Okay? I'm almost certain I spelled parentheses right. I wrote it out and I was real tired. So I'm almost certain. Parentheses, exponents, multiply or divide, whichever one comes first from left to right. Sorry, terrible line. Stuff to write on this. So multiply and divide. I'd say multiply or divide from left to right. And then add, subtract. Add or subtract from left to right, whichever one comes first. Oh, parentheses. PARENTHESES. Woo! Let's go. I did get it right, even though I was very tired. So I spelled that. It looks terrible handwriting. It's really tough to write up and down. Okay? Fair is fair. Okay, so I just I'll put it on a new page. So it is 8 times parentheses absolute value negative 5.5 and parentheses and absolute value minus 16.8 and parentheses divided by 2 1/2 plus negative 5 squared. Okay, it's a lot of work. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to figure out the absolute value. So absolute value is the distance from 0, and we all know distance can never be negative. So first things first, let's rewrite this whole fun thing. 8 times, this will be positive 5.5 minus 16.8 divided by 2 1/2 plus negative 5 squared. So we are really going to subtract 16.8 and 5.5 and then keep the sign of the bigger number. So this is really a positive 5.5 and a negative 16.8 that we're putting together. So just for fun, well, we'll just do it over here. Eat, zeep, zoop, zeep, zip, boop, boop, beep, boop. 16.8 minus 5.5. We get 3. Decimal goes straight down when we are adding or subtracting with decimals. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1. So we get negative 11 over here. So 8 times negative 11.3 divided by 2 1/2 plus negative 5 squared. So we did parentheses. Now it comes to E for exponents. We have to solve this. And in the last lesson, it explains that whenever we have a negative base, if we have an even exponent, my answer will be positive. Okay? So this is basically just negative 5 times negative 5. And two negatives equals positive. So that will be positive 25. So let's rewrite the whole thing. 8 times, in parentheses, negative 11.3 divided by 2 1/2 plus 25. Okay? Now let's do the math over here for 11. Now we're doing multiplication because it's furthest left. So 11.3 times 8. And it will be negative because there's a negative sign, but I'm just not going to worry about that right now. So 8 times 3 is 24 plus 2. Well, carry the 2, sorry. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 2 is 10. 0. Carry the 1. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 1 is 9. How many decimal places do I have? 1, so I put it over here. I whoop, skibbity scoop, up, beep, and then 90.4, okay? Divided by, negative 90.4. So I get negative, divided by 2 1/2 plus 25, okay? Now I'm just gonna make this short and sweet because I'm running out of time. So 90.4, make that negative, divided by 2.5 because that is what 2 1/2 is as a decimal, gives me negative 36.16 plus 25. Okay, we're really going to subtract them and keep the sign of the bigger number, but I'm just going to do it on the calculator real quick. And my answer is 11.16. Please tell me I'm right. Negative 11.16. Boom, perfect. Okay, so if you guys, like I said, I do not have any time. If you would like the answers to the try-its, I will throw them in the comments. Please comment and ask for them, okay? Here's the key concept. This will help out. Like all the other videos, if you watch this one, you're a part of the class. See you next time, everybody.